She didn't cry the night she lost everything. Not when her bank account hit zero. Not when she found the house empty. Not even when she realized the man she loved had vanished without a word. She cried 3 days later, when she held a pregnancy test in her shaking hands and saw 2 lines staring back at her. That was the moment she understood. He hadn't just left her. He had destroyed her life and left her to rebuild it alone. Maya had always believed in love, the kind of love where 2 people grow together, support each other, build something real. And when she met Eric, it felt like she had finally found that. He wasn't perfect, but he was charming, convincing, and full of dreams that seemed just within reach. He talked about building a future, starting a business, giving her the life she deserved. And slowly, without realizing it, Maya began to invest in that dream. At first it was small amounts, helping him cover rent, supporting his ideas, paying for things when he said he was just getting started. But over time, those small sacrifices became everything. She dipped into her savings, then her investments, then even the money she had set aside for her own future. And every time she hesitated, he reassured her with the same soft voice, "It's for us." What Maya didn't know was that there was no us. Because while she was building his life, Eric was building another one behind her back. There was another woman, not by accident, not a mistake, but a carefully hidden secret. Her name was Nadia, and unlike Maya, she didn't believe in love. She believed in strategy. Where Maya gave freely, Nadia calculated. And together, she and Eric saw an opportunity, not just to cheat, but to take everything. They planned it slowly, patiently, like people who knew exactly what they were doing. Every transfer of money, every shared account, every document Maya signed without thinking twice, it all became part of something bigger, something darker. The day it happened felt ordinary. There was no argument, no warning, no sign that her life was about to collapse, just a notification from her bank, then another, then another. At first, she thought it was a mistake, but as she stared at the numbers dropping again and again, panic began to rise in her chest. She called Eric, but he didn't answer. She called again and again, nothing. That's when she rushed home. The door was unlocked. The silence inside felt wrong, too empty, too still. And when she stepped inside, her heart sank. The furniture was gone. His clothes were gone. Even the little things, the things that made the place feel like home, were gone. It wasn't just that he left. He erased himself and took everything with him. The days that followed were a blur of shock, confusion, and disbelief. She tried to trace the money, tried to understand what had happened, but the truth hit harder than anything else. This wasn't sudden. It wasn't impulsive. It was planned. Every detail, every move, carefully executed. And just when she thought it couldn't get worse, it did. 3 days later, she found out she was pregnant. For a moment, she couldn't breathe. Her mind raced with questions she couldn't answer. Should she tell him? Would he even care? But deep down, she already knew the truth. The man she loved didn't exist anymore. Maybe he never did. With no money, no support, and nowhere to go, Maya's life slowly fell apart. She lost her home. Her business collapsed. Friends faded away when she needed them most. And eventually, she found herself on the streets. Pregnant, alone, invisible. People passed her every day without a second glance. Some pitied her. No one knew who she used to be. No one knew how far she had fallen. Nights were the hardest. The cold, the hunger, the silence, it all felt unbearable. But what hurt the most wasn't the pain. It was the betrayal. How do you trust again after someone destroys you so completely? But then something changed. One night, as she sat alone, exhausted and hungry, she felt a small movement in her stomach. Her baby, a quiet, gentle reminder that she wasn't completely alone. And in that moment, something inside her shifted. She realized she had a choice. She could give up, or she could fight. And for the first time since everything fell apart, she chose to fight. She started small, doing whatever she could to survive. Cleaning, selling small items, taking any opportunity that came her way. It wasn't easy. There were days she wanted to quit. Days she felt like the world was against her. But she kept going, not for herself, but for the life growing inside her. And slowly, things began to change. What started as survival turned into stability. What felt impossible began to feel within reach. She learned, adapted, grew stronger, not just emotionally, but mentally. She began to understand money, business, people, in ways she never had before. Years passed, and the woman who once had nothing began to build something powerful. But here's the twist. She never forgot. Not the pain, not the betrayal, not him. One day, by pure coincidence, or maybe fate, she came across his name again. Eric. Successful, wealthy, living the life he stole from her. Still with Nadia, still smiling like nothing had ever happened. But this time, Maya didn't feel pain. She felt something else. Clarity. Because as she looked deeper, she discovered something he never realized. In his rush to take everything, he had made a mistake. A small one. Almost invisible, but enough. Enough for someone patient, someone determined to use. So she didn't rush. She didn't confront him. She waited, and when the time was right, everything began to fall apart for him. Slowly at first, then all at once. Accounts frozen, deals collapsing, ownership questioned, legal pressure building from every direction. He didn't understand what was happening, until the day he saw her, standing in front of him, calm, confident, unrecognizable. For a moment, he couldn't speak, because the woman he thought he had destroyed was standing there, stronger than ever. "You took everything from me," she said quietly. "And you thought I wouldn't come back." He tried to explain, to justify, to deny, but it was too late, because this time, she was the one in control. And just like that, everything he built began to crumble. Not out of anger, not out of revenge, but because it was never truly his to begin with. And when it was over, she didn't stay to watch him fall. She simply walked away, with her child, with her power, with her life rebuilt. Because the greatest revenge is not destroying the person who broke you. It's becoming someone they can never reach again. He thought he took everything from her, but all he really did was create a woman he would never be able to touch again.